Most of us play Rust PvP and farm, but being able to cut down on your farming time is what the Outpost does best. In this video, I'll show you how to really use it to its maximum. Now, just before we get into the video and learn how to abuse the Outpost, I want you guys to go into the description and join the giveaway. The giveaway is free to join, and you can get yourself some Rust skins, you can get yourself a Steam gift card, and it's all free. Now that that's been mentioned, let's go ahead and get right into the video. One of the easier ways to abuse Outpost is going to be through the vending machines. There's a few trades you want to keep in mind when you're heading to Outpost. To begin with, we're going to go ahead and start with the oil refinery. For the cost of the oil refinery, it's very expensive. It costs about 250 low grade, some metal fragments, and wood. And personally, I really don't think it's worth it for, well, what it's used for. So just buying it for 125 scrap is much better. Now the second trade you want to look at is going to be at the back end. Go ahead and look at the tactical gloves. When recycled, it will drop 10 leather and 5 sewing kits. 5 sewing kits can be recycled into 50 cloth and 10 rope. That 10 rope can be recycled into 150 rope. So you'll end up in the end with 200 rope, 200 cloth, not rope, and 10 leather. Now, one not mentioned in the article, because it's very common, the jackhammer's extremely cheap here and can speed up your mining runs. By a lot, actually. Now, other than getting some basic blueprints, you can get a lot of raw materials too. When it comes to raw materials, the Outpost is extremely good for it, as you can buy a lot of wood for very little stone. So 3,000 stone, just a few notes, can actually equal to a lot more wood. So instead of 3,000 stone, you can trade it in for 10,000 wood. Now, the low grade used to be viable. I'll say that right now. Buying low grade used to be viable. It was 5 for 20 or 5 for 25. It was very cheap and it was very nice to use. But right now, it's not very viable as you only double your scrap, and it's a lot easier to save up your scrap, and instead of getting, 240 scrap, 240 low grade, you can just go buy an oil refinery and hit just a few barrels, you'll get automatically more. The component one, not worth it. I want to tell you right now, this is by far the worst vending machine in the place. Now, one thing to note, when you're using all the utilities, you'll notice that it will have a occupied icon. You can see it's got an X. It's very faint here, but it's got an X, and it says occupied. Nobody can turn it off and on, and nobody can actually access it. Like, keep in mind, there's people that do kill you at the outpost to get into your recycler. So, recycling one by one is a good idea. Unlike the other ones, the oil refinery is a little bit different. Nobody can access it, but you can turn it off and on from outside it. So people will troll you by simply turning it off and on again or turning it off. Now remember, there's also tier 1 workbenches here. So you can build yourself on wipe day crossbows, bows, compounds, and nail guns, water pipes, double barrels, and it doesn't cost that much. Now, one thing you should know too is that when it comes to the outpost, it's a really easy way to get scrap. If you get yourself 11% rad protection, depending on the procedural map, you'll see here there's nothing here. While on the other side, there's also nothing there. That's disappointing. Basically, there's going to be electrical zones that have scrap, that have barrels, 2 to 3 barrels inside each one. If we go to literally any other monument, other than dome, of course. You'll see that there's small electrical zones that kind of look like this one. And you can go ahead and break these barrels inside with your rock. Outpost won't shoot you unless you hit someone else. Once you break these barrels inside, you're going to be able to loot them. And you're going to be able to recycle them. And that's a really easy way to get a simple start. Getting one stone node and a few barrels can actually get you one crossbow. This is because a few barrels can get you some scrap. With scrap, you can get cloth. With, not cloth. With scrap, you can get metal frags. With the stone, you can get a lot of wood. And finally, when it comes to having the rope, you might get sewing kits or rope by itself from the barrels. And that's just a really good trade overall. Now let's go ahead and get into the jump puzzle. It's not really a puzzle, but it's something really useful to know. You can go ahead and jump either on this pole to get on the fence, run around, and go up here. Or the second way, if you jump down here, is standing on the recycler and just simply jumping through. Now once you get up top here, you're going to jump on the smaller power box, followed by the larger one. Stand on the very edge here, or as close as and you're going to have to strafe jump. You can kind of see I clung on there, but when you strafe jump it, just like, might take a few attempts, of course, because this is an extremely hard jump. There you go. Strafe jump it. Once you get up here, a lot of Outpost is accessible. You can now get up here, which some people will actually park their scrap heli or their normal heli. You can always get back up top. People will also park it up here, especially solos will park it up here because of the fact that they can come back up here. And you can also, if you jump up this way, jump up onto the railing here, then onto the awning, jump over the railing here, jump down over the railing, follow this, you can go onto this building right here. Now some of the more inaccessible spots are going to be on this side of the outpost. These aren't really accessible as they have invisible barriers and such, and they're overall really hard. Of course, you can get all the way over to here, but there is, like I said, invisible.
Yeah, that body's a blessing, girl. I ain't trying to pressure her. She messed with the temperature. I wrote the song, but I am the messenger. Through the metropolis, there is no stopping this. Flowers and kisses, yeah.